welcome back to Kids Cook Real Food. Mrs. Kimball here, and I've got John, who is an 8-year-old third grader, home as my helper. It's kind of a dreary day in Michigan, so we've had an inside day, a little bit, we're kind of playing in the garage, trying to get some fresh air. That's super important. We washed our hands before we came into the kitchen. That's super important. Today we're going to make homemade Italian dressing. And I actually use this recipe in our Kids Cook Real Food e-course to teach measuring, but today we're going to do the total opposite. We're hardly going to measure at all because I really want to show you how flexible cooking can be, how easy it is, and how you don't need fancy stuff. So, you know, we're going to put it in a little dressing bottle, but what can they use if they don't have a fancy dressing bottle, John?
Just a jar.
Yeah, just empty peanut butter jar, empty spaghetti sauce jar, empty salsa jar, whatever. Easy, easy stuff. So it's Italian dressing. So let's put in some Italian seasoning, and we'll do 2 teaspoons of that, John. Is that going to fit in there? Oh, it doesn't fit. So yeah, we'll pour. And the good thing is we don't have to be perfectly exact. We find with this Italian dressing, we end up at the end of the bottle. Yeah, just dump it in. With like kind of a lot of extra seasoning at the bottom. So then I'll fill it again halfway with extra virgin olive oil. And then sometimes I even do that again. John, when we measure, that was 2 teaspoons. Let's do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt and a 1/2 teaspoon of pepper. What do we teach kids to make sure that we remember how to measure flat?
No holes, no hills.
No holes, no hills. Yep, here's the pepper. Now, a lot of this is really optional. If you don't have Italian seasoning, use basil, oregano, marjoram, like any combination of those. All of them mixed together is great. You don't have, you don't have to use salt. Did you know, John, that when Grandpa comes over, because he has high blood pressure and he's afraid of salt, I don't put the salt in.
No.
Yeah, you can't even really tell, so it's probably not that important. Well, we'll put the olive oil and vinegar in last. Let's move over to, we're going to use fresh garlic today. Often, you guys, I'm making this, or a kid is making this right before dinner, and so we're rushing. So we use things like a teaspoon, or actually 2 teaspoons of dried garlic powder, or sometimes I might throw in a few spoonfuls of like canned minced garlic. But I know that garlic is really important for our immune system. It can help fight germs. So we're going to use fresh garlic today. New skill for you. Yeah. Big chef's knife, which John is comfortable with. Fresh garlic, flat knife, flat hand. I'm going to use not my fingers, but the palm of my hand, or kind of the heel of my hand, and whack really hard. It's not about the sharpness. It's just a flat blade. And that kind of pops open the clove, and I can pull the outer peel off and get the clove out. Do you want to try the thwacking? Yeah. So super flat. Your fingers are even going to point toward the sky. Yeah, so they're not unsafe. I think you got it. Peek under there. Did it crack open? Oh yeah, look at that. Flies right off. Do you want to do a couple more? So I grabbed 4. Probably 2 is the recipe, but I'm thinking extra garlic sounds really delicious today. I'm trying to keep the watch out of there. Does the peel come right off? Yeah, just kind of break it, even if it's just started a little bit. No, maybe you need to thwack it again. If you start to have to use your fingernail or your thumbnail, you can thwack it more. There we go. I see a crack. I see it. Just kind of try to, kind of bend the clove, and that will pop the outside off. It's coming. It's coming. We got one more. I'm going to switch spots with you so I can demonstrate a garlic press. If you don't have a garlic press, but you do have fresh garlic, you can always use a knife. Again, we demonstrate that in the course. We're not going to do it all today. But dried garlic, dried minced garlic is fine. Like canned, kind of refrigerated minced garlic is good too. So John, this is a pretty easy tool. The clove goes in the little hole, and we use this for Play-Doh, don't we? So you've used this for Play-Doh. And then you just squeeze as hard as you can and shoot it where you want it to go. If you squeeze closer to where the action is happening, it's a little easier. It's a lever that makes more use of your strength. So throw maybe 2 cloves in there, 1 clove. Well, let's do 1 clove. Whoops, I'll rinse that for you while you're crushing this. Okay, I'll go rinse the jumping ship clove off. Ta-da! Did any come out? It takes a lot of hand strength. Squeeze. It's a little harder than Play-Doh. No go. Let's grab that other clove, because you can put more than 1 in at a time. those in, and let's teamwork. You hold close up as much as you can, and I'll hold further back. We'll work together, and we hope that we don't knock the glass jar off the counter. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can't even do it. These are really tough. We made something happen. Yeah, I had to hold it further up. Crazy. Now this garlic is fresh, and some adults might be thinking, okay, so does that mean I have to put my olive oil in the refrigerator? Because maybe you've done that before and you know that it gets all kind of like gelled up and it's too hard to pour. No, actually, because the oil has a preservative protective property. So once this garlic, as long as it's all submerged in the oil, we're not going to leave it up here at the top. My goodness. Let's just, even if it's not all crushed, we're just going to get it in there. Because all that garlic will infuse all the oil with lovely deep garlic flavor, and the oil will preserve the garlic from going bad. So it's a pretty nice symbiotic relationship. We made a big mess, Jen. Good thing we have a clean counter. Is it sometimes messy cooking with Mom? Mm-hmm. Who's messier, you or me?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of parents they worry about cooking with their kids because their kids are messy. You should probably worry about cooking with me. Don't invite me in your kitchen. All right, we got the salt, we got the pepper, we got some herbs, we got some garlic. We need a big old squirt of Dijon mustard. Officially, that's 1 tablespoon. See?
I opened it.
I shook it. I know. Give it another little squirt. Give it a squirt in the bottle this time. You might have to shake it down. We're getting low. We've got more in our pantry. Oh, perfect. That's about a tablespoon. If you don't have Dijon mustard, you can use yellow mustard, whatever. This is the emulsifier that makes all the seasonings mix into the oil a little better. Yeah, I know. We need a cloth, don't we? That's one thing I forgot to bring over. Sorry, guys, who are watching this video live. But you know what? It's real life, right? We'll wipe up the mustard later. So, I am not going to measure the oil and vinegar because, well, this kind of has little lines. So it's about 1/4 cup. Actually, it's 1/4 cup to 3/4 cup vinegar. Red wine vinegar works, white wine vinegar. So just pour that into about that line there, Jen. It's fun to cook with kids with this because they can decide if they want it more tangy. They can smell the vinegar and say, oh, I want less of that or more of that. So we'll do about right there. Perfect. And then fill it up, you know, mostly to the top, like not all the way to the rim, but mostly to the top with olive oil. If you don't have wine vinegar, sure, you can use a little bit of like white vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is great in dressings. It's a whole new flavor though. Then if you want to make this more like a Greek dressing, it's pretty much all the same. Instead of Italian, I would use oregano, and I would add lemon juice instead of this. John, what's your favorite thing to put on salads?
Feta cheese.
I know, you are the feta king, and your little brother followed suit. They love feta. So you would probably love the Greek dressing. Here, put your hand on top and on bottom. Yep. Show them how we shake it up. Feta cheese is like a Greek thing. Did you know that?
No.
No, that's why the letters look all funny on the container. How's it doing? Is it emulsifying? It's getting there. It's a lot. The first time, maybe do this one, like rock it like a boat, so it goes upside down and kind of like has a chance to move around. Again, the Dijon mustard will emulsify, meaning keep the oil mixed with the vinegar a little bit, but pretty much every day it will separate. Oh, and I got distracted on how to store it. John, where do we store our Italian dressing?
On the table.
Yeah, we just leave it on the table because we use it every day and we go through it quickly. If you were, and it's fine at room temperature as far as safety. Oh yeah, it's kind of leaking a little bit. Yeah, see, it'd probably be better to use the peanut butter jar. Food safety wise is totally fine on the kitchen table. If you want to leave it in the fridge, you can, but the olive oil probably will kind of solidify a little bit. Oh, there, see, it wasn't clicked. My bad. It's important that you go through it quickly though, because light oxidizes or denutrients the olive oil. That's why good olive oil bottles are green or brown, and they should be kept in the counter, kept in the counter. Kept in the cupboard, not on the counter where light and air will hit it. We use this so often and we go through it so quickly that I just don't feel like it's a risk, and I would rather always have it on the counter for me. So, is there anything else kids need to know about Italian dressing? So now, if we're coming up to dinner and we're out of Italian, do you think you could make it on your own if I either printed out the recipe or just like called to you about like how much?
Maybe.
Maybe. Well,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
I think so. I mean, you know how to measure, you know how to pour. You won't have mom making messes around you, so you'd probably make it quicker than today. Me as an adult, I can make this in about 90 seconds, 2 minutes flat. Kids will take a little longer. Yeah, John's not as tall as me. He's on a chair. Kids will take a little longer. That's okay, because kids can be doing one thing while a parent's doing another, and everybody's working together for dinner, right? Cool. Come back tomorrow for another video here at Kids Cook Real Food, giving you ideas on how to cook healthy food and connect as a family while you are home. I'm Mrs. Kimball, and this is John.